erobre galakser og have evigt liv.
Jeg gad altså godt vide, hvem det var, der fandt på at blande kaffe og kakao sammen.
Lige nu kan du spare op til 1.000 kroner om året. Det eneste, du skal gøre, er at bestille ubegrænset bredbånd og telefonabonnement. Det koster kun 159 om måneden hos Cybercity.
We've got 101 best-kept Hollywood secrets, and we're gonna count them down.
Hvem er de gift med? Hvem hader hinanden? Og hvilke kun for voksne film har de spillet med i? Du får de 101 bedste hemmeligheder lige her.
We've got a secret. Actually, 101 of them, and we're counting them down. Welcome to 101 best-kept Hollywood secrets. Money. Marriage. Motherhood. Sex. Guys. Videotape. Secrets at 30,000 feet. An elder shocker. And so much more. Secrets are about to be revealed. On this hour, a rosy request denied, an X-rated past haunts a G-rated guy, and lying about your age in Hollywood? Say it isn't so. Let's begin part 2 of our countdown with number 80. Before he met Jennifer, before he met Gwyneth, before he met Juliet, Brad Pitt romanced a Robin. Of course, this was before Brad Pitt was Brad Pitt. The year was 1989. Brad landed a guest appearance on the sitcom Head of the Class. Robin Givens was a regular on the series. She was also the legally separated soon-to-be ex-Mrs. Mike Tyson. That's Mike, undisputed heavyweight boxing champion of the world, Tyson. Robin and Brad only worked together briefly, but sparks ignited. They were hot and heavy for a few months. Brad knew that Tyson had a reputation for being the jealous type, and one might suppose the last thing Brad wanted was the undisputed heavyweight boxing champion of the world giving him any trouble.
It's Robin Givens, Brad Pitt. These are very, very attractive people. You think they're gonna be celibate while they're, in between takes? I don't think so.
I think Brad and anyone is a cute couple. Yeah, I think that's cool. She's a pretty girl. So what would that be? Robin and Brad would be Bradabin. Yeah.
As we know, Brad eventually settled down with another actress on a sitcom, one who didn't have an intimidating ex. Brad and Robin, one of Hollywood's little-known romances. In the fall of 2000, actress-model Elizabeth Hurley found herself in a familiar place, back in the headlines. But this time, her front-page appearance had nothing to do with ex-boyfriend Hugh Grant. Liz was pregnant, and for a time, the father of her baby was Hollywood's best-kept secret, number 79.
Who conceived whose baby is a constant theme in Hollywood, and the stakes are very high because everybody's rich and everybody's famous.
Oh, I think all women should keep the identity of their baby's father a secret. There's no upside there. You're just going to disappoint the kid.
Liz eventually admitted that the mystery man was movie producer, real estate mogul Stephen Bing. But Bing claimed he and Hurley were not exclusive, and that the baby wasn't necessarily his.
Steve Bing definitely saw other people, and he was under the impression that so did she, and she was photographed with a wide number of guys, including Hugh Grant, Steve Nash, Matthew Perry. So Steve Bing always thought that their relationship was non-exclusive.
In April 2001, Elizabeth gave birth to a healthy baby boy.
Oh, I say, isn't he adorable all day long? I absolutely worship him.
2 months later, Stephen took a paternity test and, bing, turns out he was definitely the dad. An English court ordered Bing to pay Hurley $159,000 a year in child support. The ravishing Liz refused the money. All she wanted was Bing to acknowledge he was the father, which he did. Bing later stated that he hated the name Liz chose for his son, Damien. He said it reminded him of the character in The Omen. It's no secret that Mom and Dad don't see eye to eye. Bing established a trust fund for Damien, but otherwise plays no part in the little boy's life.
I think sort of for Damien's sake now, I kind of really can't really bear talking about any of that. And I think it has to sort of stay private now.
Me Tarzan, you Glenn Close? In 1983, producers of the film Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan chose Andie MacDowell to play Jane. Andie was a 26-year-old model, and this was her first acting job. French actor Christopher Lambert nabbed the part of Tarzan. This was his first English-language film. Shooting went smoothly.
Jane, delighted to see you.
So you can imagine Andie's surprise when she flew to London to do press and discovered that every single word coming out of her mouth was re-recorded by another actress.
I didn't know whose voice it was, but I knew it wasn't Andie's. And I was a little bit frightened by it and a little taken aback. I thought I was astro projecting.
During post-production, the director decided he wanted Jane to have a slightly British accent, and Andie was pure Southern belle.
You know, I've worked so hard to get where I am.
The actress hired to dub Andie's dialogue was Glenn Close.
The rule with the Screen Actors Guild is that you must allow, the producers have to allow the actor to try to re-perform their voice once. And they don't have to, after that, use the voice of the actor that appears on camera. And they can replace it at will. It's not a screen credit. If Glenn got a screen credit, I would be surprised.
Andie feared she'd never shake the label of pretty face who can't deliver lines. But MacDowell's career took off nicely.
She's wonderful in Groundhog Day and Four Weddings. So I say, bring it on. Let's see the Andie MacDowell, DVD version of Greystoke. I think it'll be great.
Glenn Close did okay too. It's fascinating to watch Tarzan, see Andie's lips move, and hear the voice of Glenn Close. We wanted to show you a clip from the film, but we're denied permission. So here's our own reenactment.
I'm proud of the movie. I think it's very entertaining, and I think it has a sophistication as well. And it was wonderful to work with the people who were involved in this movie.
Andie MacDowell's Lip Sync Secret, number 78. Coming up on the countdown, the secret of the Judds, the secret of the jewels, and a truly startling secret about Elvis. Plus,
some of it's free and some of it's borrowed. And at midnight, you turn into a pumpkin.
We're back, and we're counting down the 101 best-kept Hollywood secrets. Sharon has some impressive stones. At least she did for a while. For more than 50 years, jewelers have been lending celebrities millions of dollars worth of gems for special occasions.
You know, it's true. We get so spoiled.
I am wearing what Whoopi wore. It's from Harry Winston. The diamond necklace itself is over $4 million. The earrings a mere $750,000.
I'm having a wonderful perk tonight by wearing these beautiful diamonds. Freebie, I wish I could get it free.
The arrangement is straightforward. The star wears the gems, mentions the jeweler's name to the press.
Beautiful diamonds from Fred Leighton.
Then returns the goodies.
Some of it's free and some of it's borrowed. And at midnight, you turn into a pumpkin because there's somebody at your door saying, "Can we have the jewelry back?"
In number 77. He's right-wing. He's anti-drug. He badmouths the dealers. That's why we were stunned to discover Rush Limbaugh's hidden addiction to prescription painkillers.
Yeah, and all these years, I thought I was the only one listening to him going, is he on drugs?
He's the poster boy for good living, isn't he?
Limbaugh's dependency was a carefully guarded secret for years. Rush didn't confess until a tabloid reporter uncovered the truth in 2003. Once the secret was out in the open, Rush rushed to a drug treatment facility. Many people applauded Limbaugh's willingness to seek help, but some cried hypocrisy from a man who once declared, quote, "If people are violating the law by doing drugs, they ought to be accused and ought to be convicted and they ought to be sent up."
He is very tough on people who stray from the letter of the law and who do things wrong. While he's asking for compassion, maybe he should also show compassion to those people.
So he's just proven himself that he's a jackass, and before we got to kick him in his ass, he kicked his own ass. I guess he'll have to change his views on that all drug addicts should go to jail for a really long time, because his show's going to sound a little different from jail, isn't it?
The drug dependency of the man who preached no drugs. Best kept secret, number 76.
Choice.
The film became a huge hit. So did the sequel.
It's all good.
Beatty as Bill. Best kept secret, number 75. Coming up on our countdown, a hidden pregnancy. A quiet whisper. Sex in the City and the secret on the set. Plus.
Don't tell me that. Don't ruin it for me, man. I don't want to know.
A man lying about his age. I just love that. There's nothing wrong with that. Honey, you got to do what you got to do.
The countdown continues. Welcome back. We know that reality television isn't 100% real, but secret number 74 concerns the talk shows. For the most part, guests on these programs are who they say they are. But once in a while, TV audiences and talk show producers are fooled.
I mean, there were literally like dozens of talk shows. So you would have to imagine that after a while, you have to kind of start stretching the truth a little bit, embellishing your stories a little.
We were all watching those shows, and we saw those people come up twice on 2 different shows, and you thought to yourself, wait a minute, I thought you were sleeping with your mother's brother, sister's uncle. No, I thought you were just crazy. But that was 2 different shows. We got confused.
In 1998, comedian Doug Stanhope claimed he faked his way onto the Jerry Springer Show as a guy with a kinky secret. The producers, as well as the audience, were fooled.
I think maybe with the Jerry Springers of this world, maybe really often, maybe really, really often, you just go find some toothless people living in a trailer park and say, you know what happened to you? And they go, okay. And if people don't know that's a bunch of crap by now, then they deserve to be hoodwinked.
Actress Wally Ann Warden appeared on several talk shows.
Geraldo, Montel Williams, Marilyn Kagan.
She wasn't pretending to be someone else, but she molded her personality to fit the show's topic.
They would give me kind of a point of view, kind of a conceit, like, okay, if it's going to be women who use their bodies to get what they want me to then dress for that type of point of view.
On Geraldo, the subject was victims of the casting couch. Whatever the show, whatever the topic, Wally found stories from her own life to fit the appropriate subject.
Like, oh, I'm a victim, but I'm also a survivor. But then you kind of get hooked on it too, you know, kind of the rush of the debate team, you know.
On each of the shows, producers coached Wally on how to interact with other guests.
Geraldo kind of pitted us against each other because he wanted to get a cat fight going.
50 minutes of fame. Cameras make people do crazy stuff.
My waiter at this one restaurant, all of a sudden I see him on television as a gigolo.
You know what, people? They're talk shows. They're not reality talk shows. It's a show. It's entertainment.
All part of the magic of talk show entertainment. Best kept secret number 74. A year later, the case of Tylo versus Spelling Entertainment Group proceeded to trial. When Tylo was called to the stand, Allred asked her how many children she had. Hunter responded, well, I have 3.5. I'm pregnant with my 4th child. Unbeknownst to the spelling camp, Tylo was 8 months pregnant.
I saw opposing counsel's face turn like bright red and he dropped his pen. And all of the jury members, I heard this gasp of,
She looked so slim and fit, so alluring, that a revelation destroyed the defense assertion that a pregnant Tylo couldn't play sexy.
The jury was really checking me out as I walked by.
We felt that she could play a vixen. The word vixen came up.
The jury awarded Hunter a settlement close to $5 million, almost double the amount she was seeking. Hunter Tylo's pregnancy, best kept Hollywood secret number 73. The prosecution rests. It's a time-honored practice. When in Hollywood, lie about your age. But most people subtract years. Actor Lawrence Fishburne added them.
A man lying about his age. I just love that. There's nothing wrong with that. Honey, you got to do what you got to do.
In 1976, director Francis Ford Coppola was casting Apocalypse Now. Fishburne desperately wanted to score a role as a soldier. There was just one little problem. The actor was only 14.
You're completely blinded by youth, so you can't see anything. You're just kind of like, wow, I'm happy to be here. What do you got? What are you doing?
Still, Larry looked older than his years. Fishburne claimed to be 17 in order to get an audition.
The reality is, my God, we are obsessed with you, though everybody lies about their age.
The gutsy kid won the part and spent the next 2 years in the Philippine jungle where he grew up real fast.
The things that I remember about it are vague, and they come from the perspective of one who is only at the very beginning of their life. But the things that I carry as a result of going through this experience are really important and powerful things for me.
Lawrence Fishburne probably doesn't lie about his age anymore, but we're sure some of his colleagues do.
Doesn't everybody lie about their age?
Hollywood Secret number 72.
Hey, look, Ma, I made it.
Don't go anywhere, because we're going to break a few rules and tell a few tales, like the talk show Rosie really wanted but didn't get, the secret that stunned Hollywood, and a side of Nicole nobody knows. Plus,
You know, Eric Stoltz was fired from the movie, and Eric Stoltz was a friend of mine.
Maybe it was the right move. You know, it sucks for Eric.
we're counting down the 101 best-kept Hollywood secrets. Back to the Future was one of the most popular comedies.
Don't worry about it. I'll be all right.
So, Back to the Future went back to square one with the new Marty McFly, TV actor Michael J. Fox.
Maybe it was the right move. You know, it sucks for Eric. Well, it's great for Michael.
The Back to the Future trilogy went on to gross more than $500 million.
This is great.
If Rosie O'Donnell had gotten her wish, there might never have been a daytime Rosie O'Donnell show. Secret number 71. Here's what happened. After Jay Leno took over The Tonight Show in 1992, Rosie guest hosted a few times. She loved the gig. In fact, she loved it so much that she wanted to be Leno's permanent guest host, filling in whenever he went on vacation.
When are you going to host the show, Rosie? Oh, I don't know, whenever they ask me.
Apparently, Leno said thanks but no thanks. He didn't want anyone to be his permanent guest host. In the end, Rosie decided to do her own show. The rest is daytime talk show history.
Rosie made tons of money. She became a household name. It spun off into 20 other million things. So it all works out in the end.
I have dreamed this moment since I was 7 years old, and to be living it, sort of mind-boggling.
Most actors jump at the chance to be part of a successful movie franchise. Not Bill Murray. The very funny Murray co-starred in the mega-hit movie Charlie's Angels.
Bill, I just praised every day. He's God to me.
angel.
Yeah, he is the fourth angel.
But he was nowhere to be found in the 2003 sequel. People wondered why. During the shooting of the original film, Murray addressed a gathering of theater owners and gave his take on the film.
I know you're all thinking, yeah, the Angels, I care. What about Bosley? Okay, the toughest, most demanding crap I've ever done. I want to introduce what I think is the most exciting, most adequately compensated group of actresses I have ever met. There are a lot of people that say they would love to trade places with me on this movie for just one day, and I would like each and every one of your names. Not for all the days, but just every once in a while. And yeah, 4 or 5 days a week.
When it came time to shoot Charlie's Angels full throttle, Murray opted to do Lost in Translation instead. Not a bad move, considering the actor nabbed his first Oscar nomination.
He wanted to do something serious. He wanted to do something that was going to leave a mark.
Let's see, crappy blockbuster or Oscar nomination?
In Lost in Translation, he strikes up a friendship with Scarlett Johansson. At the very end of the film, as Murray is leaving to catch a plane back to the U.S., he whispers something into Scarlett's ear. But what does he say? We can only guess.
They told me Coppola was directing. They just didn't say which one.
Here's what Bill Murray whispered in her ear. It was something that the audience wasn't supposed to know because they've already shared an intimate relationship. And it was a continuation of sharing that intimate relationship one more time.
If you ever need me, you find me and I'll always be there for you, or something sweet like that.
I'm allergic to shellfish. Just thought you ought to know.
I know what he said. But he said it in Japanese, and if I were to tell you in English, it would get lost in translation.
This movie's overrated.
The Deep, Dark Secrets of Bill Murray, Hollywood Secret, number 69. Coming up, reinventing identities, confessing a traumatic secret, and fooling an entire film crew. Plus,
tell your children who the parents are. It's better for the child in the long run.
we're revealing the best-kept Hollywood secrets. The queen of daytime talk, Oprah Winfrey, suffered in silence for years before sharing a startling secret with her audience. Oprah was raised in poverty in rural Mississippi during the 1950s. As a child, she first lived with her mother, then her grandmother, her father, then back with her mother, all before her 9th birthday. According to Oprah, she was around 9 when she was first molested by her 19-year-old cousin. Over the next 5 years, Oprah was sexually abused by several other men, all family acquaintances. Oprah became pregnant when she was 14, but the baby died 2 weeks after being born prematurely. In 1985, Oprah revealed her secret to the world on her talk show. Winfrey said other guests who confessed their own stories of sexual abuse inspired her revelation.
She's a strong woman, she's self-confident, she's intelligent, and she's had this horrible thing that happened to her. Hopefully, would allow them to say, okay, I don't have to carry this weight for the rest of my life and think that I did something wrong.
Oprah Winfrey, child abuse survivor, number 68 on our list of best-kept secrets. Does the name Alan Smithee sound familiar?
I am not going to talk about Alan Smithee.
It might, because Mr. Smithee was credited with directing 47 movies over 33 years before calling it quits in 2000. Here's the secret. There's no such person. Alan Smithee was a pseudonym for a director who didn't want his name attached to a project.
Please, James, I beg you, my name's on this movie.
Well, you know what? Take your name off it. You can use Alan Smithee.
Oh, I am Alan Smithee.
Yeah, you and hundreds of others.
There are two primary reasons a director might not want his name on a film he directed. One, artistic differences between the director and the studio. Or two, the smell of a turkey.
Didn't he direct Spy Kids 3?
It's when it's too embarrassing to have to actually say a film by Joe Esterhaus or another comedy by Sylvester Stallone.
Film aficionados knew about Smithee for years, but it wasn't until one director made a fuss that the secret was revealed. In 1998, Tony Kaye attempted to remove his name as director from the film American History X.
In other words, the Directors Guild insists that there must be a name of a director on it, but they recognize the fact that certain directors may want to remove their name.
Studio executives allowed star and budding director Edward Norton to take over directorial duties. As a result of Kaye's public campaign to take his name off the film, the Directors Guild put a halt to the use of Alan Smithee. By the way, the name Alan Smithee happens to be an anagram for the Alias Men.
I didn't think there were any real movies that had the name Alan Smithee attached to them, but I discovered when I asked that there are about a dozen of them. But you know what's a drag is that actors don't have that ability.
I wonder if there is an Alan Smithee somewhere, though, that is taking it all on himself and where his residuals are. It's like, well, that's me.
Mr. Smithee, best kept Hollywood secret for 30 years. There's an old expression, the camera never lies. That may be true, but the same can't be said for the picture. You probably know that professional photographs are often retouched, altered to make the subject look more flattering. It happens all the time in magazines like Playboy and Penthouse.
After you've gone through hair and makeup, styling, fitness, nutrition, surgery, hiring a tremendous photographer, and then shooting thousands of pictures and picking the one, then you've got retouching to come in and make sure it's perfect.
But you may be surprised by how much retouching is done and who's getting the airbrush treatment, including some Hollywood A-listers.
Hollywood is an illusion, and everybody thinks everybody's perfect on the screen, so we have to use touch-up stuff. I mean, we have to touch pictures up and make it look flawless. That is the day and age we live in. You have to look flawless, so you better touch up your picture.
I read
that 95% of images you see in magazines are retouched in some way. So if you think of it that way, you know, almost all pictures are some way changed, then it's pretty frightening.
It was widely reported that English beauty Kate Winslet was somewhat taken aback when her altered image appeared on the cover of a classy British magazine. In the photo, her legs looked incredibly thin.
I was so happy, and he was showing me these Polaroids, and I was going, oh, wow, good bit of lighting, and was quite pleased with how my legs looked, and all those things that, as women we just look at. And then suddenly the magazine is out, and they're not my legs. It's not that they aren't my legs, they're just digitally retouched, quite a lot.
Winslet was quoted as saying that her legs were slimmed down by a third. On the July 2003 cover of Red Book magazine, the photo of Julia Roberts was severely altered. Her head came from a 2002 paparazzi photo. Her body was lifted from a photo taken at the Notting Hill premiere 4 years earlier. Industry insiders call this a Frankenstein.
It's one of the things that people say they really enjoy, seeing famous people looking bad.
Jamie Lee Curtis became so fed up with the artifice, she decided to appear in More magazine without the help of makeup artists, hairstylists, or wardrobe people, choosing instead to look the way God intended me to look.
It was my way of saying, I don't want to keep perpetuating this kind of airbrushed version of me that makes people in the Midwest go, well, she has no problems, look at her.
But don't count on other actresses following Jamie's lead.
Quite frankly, I love airbrushing. I think it's great. I mean, you don't even have to be at the photo shoot. They can just brush you on.
When I go to work, I have insecurities. I have to take my clothes off in front of these women that have these quote-unquote perfect bodies, and people think my body is perfect, and people don't know that the back of my butt and thighs looks like somebody squeezed it and let go and it stayed, like cellulite like that, and people don't know that.
I think the miracle of the computer and touching up is an actress's best friend. I think it is fabulous.
You hear about celebrity makeup artists, but you never hear about celebrity retouchers. It's a total secret. You never get a referral from one star to another. Oh, use my retoucher. Don't believe anything you see. It's all lies.
This is a business in which youth and beauty rule.
Smoke and mirrors and lights. We love good lighting. What do you talk about?
Retouched photos, best kept Hollywood secret number 66. After the break, the countdown continues. An X-rated mistake and a marriage annulled. We'll be back. The countdown continues. Welcome back. In the early 90s, a good-looking 19-year-old landed a job modeling for designer Tommy Hilfiger. His name? Simon Rex. Before long, Rex got a gig as a VJ on MTV. A few years later, Rex was thrilled to be cast in a TV pilot produced by Disney. See, the guy wanted to be an actor. There was one small glitch, the proverbial skeleton in the closet. Earlier in his career, Simon was out of work and needed money. To make ends meet, he performed in a few adult films, gay-oriented adult films.
That seems like that would be career suicide. Maybe not.
After Simon attained a degree of celebrity, these movies began to surface on the internet. Once his past became public knowledge, Simon was replaced in the pilot. In an interview with TV Guide, Simon revealed he met the adult filmmaker through his then-girlfriend. Simon was told the movie would only be seen in Germany. Quote, so I was like, okay.
He did porn, and then, of course, he gets picked up as an MTV VJ, and MTV says, hey, that's not a problem, we've all got a pass.
Rex was down, but definitely not out. Since that early setback, he's enjoyed a career that has taken him from the small screen to the big screen and back. And he's managed to keep his clothing on. Simon Rex, birth name Simon Cutright, and his foray into the world of adult entertainment is our best-kept secret number 65. When up-and-coming singer Aaliyah hooked up with performer and producer R. Kelly, the romance raised more than a few eyebrows. In December 1994, Vibe magazine published a copy of a marriage license taken out by Aaliyah and Kelly.
R. Kelly's camp had been very tight-lipped about the whole thing. Aaliyah's camp was very tight-lipped. No one talked about it. So we kind of let the secret out of the bag, so to say.
The document listed her age as 18 and claimed the two were married outside Chicago on August 31st of that year.
There have been rumors that he and Aaliyah had eloped and married secretly and things like that, and she had apparently lied about her age. So we tracked down the marriage license.
Many believed Aaliyah was only 15 at the time. The singer's reps both denied that they were married or gave a no comment.
Who knows? They were in love. It was illegal. Still is, I believe.
Published reports claim that Aaliyah's outraged parents had the union annulled. Ironically, Aaliyah's first record was titled Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. Tragically, in 2001, the singer died in a plane crash. She was 22. To this day, the question lingers, were Aaliyah and R. Kelly really hitched? Maybe some things are meant to remain a secret. The Gong Show, The Dating Game, The Newlywed Game. These classic shows were created by one of the wackiest, imaginative people who ever worked in television.
Ladies and gentlemen, here comes Dr. Flamo!
Chuck Barris. In his autobiography, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, Barris claimed that he was a television producer and a government assassin.
You're a game show host producer by day.
By day.
And then a CIA operative
by night.
By night.
Right.
And it's a true story.
Well, here's the thing.
TV audiences loved Chuck's shows, but critics skewered them.
I was getting crucified for the game shows and the programs and the other shows that I created as being puerile, stupid stuff. And meanwhile, I was getting medals and presidential citations for killing enemies of the United States of America for the CIA.
According to Barris, he was told that his job as a TV executive was the perfect cover. He could chaperone couples from the dating game to exotic locales and take out enemies of the state at the same time.
That's classified information. I'm not at liberty as an agent to talk about it. Can you imagine getting whacked by Screech?
George Clooney directed a movie based on the book, starring Sam Rockwell, Drew Barrymore, and Julia Roberts.
I met with him, sat down with him, and said, look, the first thing I'm going to do is tell you I don't want to know the answer.
The CIA denied Barris's involvement with the agency.
I'm never going to talk about whether it's true or not as far as the CIA or the killing is concerned. That I'll go to the grave with.
Chuck Barris, secret agent, or just more imaginative than anyone ever expected?
I think if he wants to believe he was a CIA assassin, then nobody should take that away from him.
Yeah, and I work for the FBI. Sign me up.
I was the Queen of Norway for a brief period in the early 80s.
Best Kept Secret, number 63. After the break, The Secret of the Judds. Plus,
I guess it just really sends up a red flag when a movie with a cast member from Survivor is being called the hottest new hit of the summer.
By the way, we had a tough time whittling down our secrets list to 101. For more revealing Hollywood tidbits, log on to E! Online and check them out. We'll be right back. We're counting down the 101 best-kept Hollywood secrets. Promoting a film is big business, and studio executives look for glowing quotes from movie reviews to use in TV commercials and newspaper ads. In 2001, Ridgefield Press critic Dave Manning called Hollow Man one hell of a scary ride. Manning labeled Heath Ledger of A Knight's Tale this year's hottest new star. But there was one blurb that the studio didn't put in an ad. Dave Manning is, quote, a complete fabrication.
He got away with it for Hollow Man, and he got away with it for A Knight's Tale. But when he tried to say that The Animal was the hottest new comedy of the summer, he went too far, which goes to show you that even a fake person in Hollywood is still greedy.
I'd like a walking urinal.
See, in July 2000, an unidentified executive at Sony Pictures decided to create a critic out of thin air. A critic who would rave about the movies released by Sony. This charade went on for several months. When the fraud was uncovered, a Sony spokesperson said it was an incredibly foolish decision and were horrified. No kidding.
Liars, liars, pants on fire. That's all I have to say.
The executive who created Dave Manning no longer works at the studio. Hollywood is all about make-believe, but make-believe can still get you fired.
I guess it just really sends up a red flag
when a movie with a cast member from Survivor is being called the hottest new hit of the summer. I don't know. I don't see Jervis starring in Hamlet, although I'm sure David Manning would love it if he did.
Dave Manning still owes me $8 for Spice World.
I just don't understand what that says about us as a society, that we are just going to sort of be sheep in a herd and just follow, you know, some expert's freaking opinion or advice. I mean, it cracks me up all the time. But.
Best Kept Secret, number 62.
Here's an idea. Make a better movie.
Talent seems to flow in some showbiz families. In the case of the Judds, it's a veritable flood.
You go, girl. We call her a massive sass, and she's the queen of screen, and I'm the queen of everything. Ashley got me this from Harry Winston.
Excuse me, firstborn, I got it for you.
Mother Naomi sings. Older daughter Winona sings. Younger daughter Ashley acts.
I've always known that Ashley was special, and I've always been as proud of her as I am of Winona. I have two beautiful daughters.
They have great, strong, confident personalities that really shine.
The sisters have always been close, but they don't really look alike. Have you ever wondered why? Turns out the girls have different fathers. Winona and Ashley grew up thinking their father was Michael Simonella, Naomi's husband from 1964 to 72. Simonella is Ashley's father, but Winona's biological dad is Charlie Jordan, an old high school friend of Naomi's. Ashley knew the secret first. Then Winona learned the truth from her mother.
Listen, I have two children from two separate fathers myself. Tell your children who the parents are. It's better for the child in the long run. Don't wait 30 years.
One of them is improperly using the Good Judd name. I'd like to find out who. I think it might be Chris Judd, to be honest.
In case you are wondering, Judd is Naomi's maiden name.
I raised both my girls, who are very creative and independent and strong-willed, to be defined from within, not by that popular culture out there.
We all three have our separate identities. I'm the singer, she's the actress, and Mom's the writer.
The women continue to be a tightly knit threesome. The Judds, Hollywood Secret, number 61. Coming up on the countdown as we zoom towards the top 10 best-kept Hollywood secrets, the Winona Ryder shocker, and it has nothing to do with shopping, the Jack Nicholson bomb, and it has nothing to do with babes, and the George Clooney mind-boggler. Plus, secret romances, secret marriages, and celebrity secrets at 30,000 feet. All ahead on 101 Best-Kept Hollywood Secrets.
It's show business. It's part of what we do. It comes with the territory. And if you don't like people talking about you, just remember this. They could be doing something else, not talking about you. So as far as I'm concerned, say all that you want. Talk, 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 talk. Spell my name right.
I could, but then I'd have to kill you, I'd have to kill him, I'd have to kill everybody watching. That would be messy.